Why is it so hard for depressed people to clean? That's a great question, and we're going to talk about that today. Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, today's show is brought to us by housecleaning360.com, and there are a whole bunch of professionals that service the home. So if you find yourself depressed and you are not able to actually make a dent in the cleaning yourself, you can find somebody who can come help you on housecleaning360.com. There's everybody there from carpet cleaners to window washers, professional organizers, there's junk and hoarding removal, there are house cleaners, there's a whole bunch of people that are designated to help you get your place back up to a living standard. housecleaning360.com. All right, on to today's show, which is from a homeowner who wants to know, why is it so hard to clean when you're depressed? Well, that's a great question, because when you're depressed, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's going on. And cleaning house is not a priority. The priorities are eating and exercising and taking a shower. And it's very difficult for a really depressed person to even get out of bed in the morning. When you get out of bed in the morning, you feel like you've just been hit by a Mack truck. And so cleaning up your house isn't even on the radar. That's one of the reasons it's so hard to clean when you're depressed. All right, what happens to a depressed person is things slide. When you take off your clothes, you don't feel like putting them away, so they go on the floor or on the back of a chair or the back of a sofa, and they just keep piling up. Along with the piling up, there's a lot of guilt associated with that, because you know you should pick up after yourself and you know you should put things away. So you feel guilty because, oh, I don't feel like doing it, and then you feel bad. And with the feeling bad, that creates more depression. And so it's kind of a vicious cycle that feeds itself. Then along with the stuff that's left around, there's also other stuff that gets neglected. So instead of scouring out the bottoms of the bathtubs and the shower pan when you're done taking a shower, it's easy to neglect that until it becomes overwhelming and just mucky. If things are mucky, it doesn't inspire you to go take a shower, because you get in there and there's mold growing around the bottom of the shower pan or the bottom of your bathtub. And so there's no inspiration because you don't feel clean when you're inside there. And then other things pile up in the bathroom, and you have leftover shampoo bottles and hairspray bottles and things that are strewn about, and there's no energy to try to clean those things up. So it's very hard to be depressed, but it's very hard just to live a day-to-day life. So one of the things that I would recommend, if you're having a problem cleaning your house because you are depressed, number one, don't worry about cleaning the house right now. Cleaning the entire house right now is going to be an overwhelming task, and it's only going to get worse if you start to unravel things and you don't get them put away. It's only going to feed the guilt and the frustration that you already have. So my suggestion for you is this: you have to take care of yourself first. You cannot take care of your house, you cannot take care of your family until you can take care of yourself first. So if you're having a hard time cleaning, forget about the cleaning for a minute. Get out of bed, get on a pair of shoes, and get out the door and go for a brisk walk. It's going to be one of the hardest things that you do because you do not feel like it. But once you get out and you start walking, and I'm not talking about sauntering along the road, I'm talking about a brisk walk. If you get out and you start going for a brisk walk, that's going to activate a bunch of neurons in your brain, and you're going to get oxygen flowing through your blood, and it's going to help you breathe better, and it's going to build self-confidence. When you exercise, you feel better because you release endorphins. It's a natural drug, it doesn't cost anything, and going for a walk is absolutely free. So my recommendation to you is get out and go for a walk first. When you come back from your walk, before you take a shower, do one small task. One small task like washing the dishes. That's it. Don't clean up the whole kitchen. Don't put all the food away. Don't worry about going through the cupboards. Don't try to do everything at once. Do one small task. That's it. Go for a walk and do one small task. Once you've cleaned up the dishes, now the goal is to maintain those dishes. That's it. Just one small responsibility, do the dishes. And so every meal, do the dishes. That's it. It's easy. The rest of your house can be chaotic for a minute. That's okay. The important thing is that we take care of you and you do one small task. If you feel better, And time will happen if you keep exercising and you keep going for a brisk walk every single day. You may come back and feel like doing 2 things. And it might take a couple of weeks to get up to this point. It's going to be a slow progression. But when you get to the point of you feel like doing something else, then add one more small task to your plate. And this might be when you take off your clothes instead of putting them on the floor. Even if you're tripping over clothes and there's stuff all over the floor, take these clothes that you just took off and hang them up or put them in the hamper. Make it a point to do one small thing in addition to what you're already doing. And so now it might be the clothes. So when you take the clothes off, now the clothes that you're wearing go inside the hamper or they get hung up. And like I say, there may be stuff strewn all about. Don't worry about that stuff right now. We're going to do the dishes and we're going to hang up the clothes after you wear them. And so if we do small tasks, we can build until we're doing more and more. There may come a time when you decide you want to hire someone to come help you. The problem is that most people that are depressed don't hire house cleaners for this reason. There's a lot of guilt associated with having someone else come in your house and see how you live. And so because of the shame and the frustration and the anxiety, some people will call house cleaners and then they cancel on the house cleaner before the house cleaner gets there because they're so ashamed and they're so fearful. I don't know why, but in my experience over the last almost 30 years, my experience is a lot of depression and this frustration and shame comes from one of 2 things. It comes from a home where the parents were uber tidy. They were like super tidy, and they demanded that the rooms were always clean and that there was never anything out of place. And so it's almost a revolt against the parent. As an adult, these kids have grown up now and they're like, I'm not cleaning up my space. And because their place has become busy or messy, then they get frustrated and depressed. And like I say, it's a cycle that feeds itself. The other one, ironically, comes from church crowds. There are people that grow up in the church. They go to church every Sunday of their lives. And I'm not knocking religion, but there's a thread of I am not worthy. And I don't know where it comes from, but it's very thick in the church organization group. So people that grew up in the church, or maybe their parents were ministers, or they were very involved in the church. What happens is they go to church every Sunday and they hear that they are sinners and they need to repent and they are not worthy and they're not worthy of all these things. And they internalize that. And so they go home and they feel like, well, I'm not worthy to have a clean house. I'm not worthy to have a beautiful home. I don't deserve to clean up after myself. And they put all this shame and guilt on themselves. There's really no bearing in that whatsoever. That might be a broken tape that you were given as a small child, or even sitting listening in church services Sunday after Sunday, that you were not worthy. Well, the good news is, I'm here to break the news to you, that you are in fact worthy. If you're on this planet, somebody created you and you are worthy of being here. Now, if you take a small child and a small child is in his crib and he's crying, if you are the parent, you're like, oh, hey, my kid is crying. And so you go and you feed the child. And then when the kid dirties his diaper, he stands and he cries or whatever, you go and you change the diaper. The kid doesn't say, oh, hang on, Dad, I'm not worthy. Wait until I get my life in order and then you can feed and change me. That's weird, right? It doesn't happen that way. Even a tiny child is worthy of love and attention and, a clean house and clean space and clean diapers and food and all these things. Even a tiny child. So as a grown adult with all of these skills and information that you have, with all of the resources that we've been given, you are worthy and you deserve a clean place to stay. And so if you are in a state of depression because you feel bad, that is an illness that needs to be dealt with. However you deal with that, there are a variety of different ways, there are a variety of different books, there are podcasts, there are things you can do. The very first thing I would request that you do is get out of the house and go for a walk. And go for a walk every single day from here through the rest of your life. Because if you get out and you go for a brisk walk, you get away from it all. You get a chance to clear your head. You get a chance to release those endorphins, to get some exercise, and to get the oxygen flowing through your body, because you are worthy. The next thing that I would recommend, and this again is free, it doesn't cost any money, but most people have a smartphone. On the smartphone, there are apps that allow you to record messages. I need you to record a message to yourself that says, I am worthy. I deserve a clean place to stay. And then record it as if you've already accomplished it. My house is beautiful and it's clean and it's shiny and it's polished. And I love waking up in the morning and I bounce out of bed with energy. And say it as if you have already accomplished those things. Here's what happens. If you listen to it over and over and over and over again, what happens is your mind starts to believe it. And then your mind starts to go in search of things that make that true. So when you wake up in the morning, instead of feeling like, oh, I just got hit by this truck and I'm so exhausted, you wake up and you're like, hey, I feel great, because you've told your unconscious mind and your conscious mind a multiplicity of times that you bounce out of bed like toast and you feel great in the morning when you get up and you are ready to take on the day. And then what happens is your unconscious mind starts to produce those results. So even if your house is trashed, even if you've got mold growing in the corners of your showers and you feel unloved and unworthy and all these things, if you will listen to a tape, and it's great if it's in your voice, because your mind, your unconscious mind, recognizes your voice. You keep telling yourself things over and over and over, and your mind has become accustomed to listening to your voice. So if you will make a tape in your voice, and you play it over and over and over again, it will start to bounce you out of the cycle that you're in, and it will start to create a new cycle for you, and you will start to reprogram the way that you feel about yourself. Because if you feel unloved, and you feel unworthy, and you feel like you don't deserve a clean place, you're wrong. The good news is you're wrong. You do deserve it. If you are here on this earth, you deserve a clean place to stay. And you deserve however you get there, whether you hire someone, or whether you do it yourself, or whether you enlist the help from family and friends or church friends, whatever. I don't care how you do it. But over a period of time, you will start to recreate the space that you're in to have it be in alignment with the stories that you're telling yourself. So if the tape that you're listening to is old, if it's broken, if it doesn't apply to you anymore, and if it's not how you want to live, you do have the power to change it. And it may not be easy, and it may not be instantaneous. It may take some time. But if you will start by getting out and going for a walk, that will be a starting point for you that will revolutionize the rest of your life. I promise you that. All right, that's it for today. Until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.